Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today with my Utah Utes football predictions for the 2023 college football season. Before I continue, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Please, God, to your channel. Greatly appreciate you do that. Utah won the Pac-12 last year, back-to-back Pac-12 defending champs. They made it to the Rose Bowl both times. They did lose the Rose Bowl both times. The real question for Utah is really the health of Cam Rising, which I think will be fine. I will say this: it is a tougher Pac-12 to navigate through this year. Also, Utah has a pretty difficult non-conference schedule with Florida at home to open up the season, and then they go on the road against Baylor, which is going to be a future Big 12 matchup there. So let's get into it. Um, College football over under win total has Utah at 8.5 wins, and I think that's kind of disrespectful if you want my honest opinion. I will say this, however, the Pac-12 is going to be tough this year, and you have two games that I think you have the potential to lose in the non-conference. So I understand the 8.5, but I still think that's a bit disrespectful with Utah winning back-to-back, having back-to-back 10-win seasons and back-to-back Pac-12 champs. FBI has Utah ranked at 15th. So that's the FBI. ESPN's FBI has Utah ranked 15th. Best case scenarios for Utah, in my opinion, is 11-1. This is just regular season record, 11-1. I do think that no matter what, they'll lose a game somewhere with the schedule. Worst case scenario, 7-5 though. As I said, I'm the schedule. I think the schedule's tough for Utah. So we'll see what happens. Where I have Utah lined up at the end. The swing game for me is the first game of the season against Florida. Last year, a game Utah probably should have won against Florida, but Florida pulled off the minor upset there. Um, Utah, in my opinion, is the better team. But Pac-12 teams have had issues against SEC teams throughout the past decade. So to me, that's the swing game, week 1 on Thursday night there against Florida. So let's get into it. We'll kick it off with week 1, as I just mentioned, the game against Florida. I think Utah wins this game. It's at home. Revenge is going to be on the minds of the Utah fans and the Utah Utes football team. So, and as I said, I think Cam Rising, I think he will come in and start week 1 and be fine. I like Utah to win this game against Florida in the Urban Meyer Bowl. Week 2 on the road against Baylor. Baylor last year kind of disappointed me a little bit. It always seems like Baylor's good during the odd even years. I mean, you look at 19 and 21, 2019, 2021. They were great, but 2020 they were okay. 2022 they weren't really that good. I think they bounced back this year, Baylor. This is a future Big 12 matchup. I think this game is going to be really close either way. I'm going to pick Baylor. Maybe it's a minor upset to go ahead and beat Utah here in week 2. It's a very interesting under the radar non-conference game here. Um, I think Utah is the better team. I think upsets happen. I have a sneaky feeling that Baylor is going to win this game against Utah. So I'm going to go ahead and say Utah loses their first game of the year in week 2 against the Baylor Bears. Week 3 at home against Weber State, win. Um, not going to spend much time on this game. FCS opponent should get the victory there. Week 4 you open up Pac-12 play, so 2-1 in the non-conference. Week 4 at home against UCLA. UCLA, they are a fringe top 25 team. The game is in Salt Lake City. I picked Utah to win this game. They should win this game, in my opinion. And I know last year, same thing with the Florida game. Revenge. I mean, you guys lost your first game of the year. Excuse me, your first Pac-12 loss of the year was to UCLA on the road. I think revenge would be on the mind of the Utah Utes football team, and they'll get the win against UCLA, Utah to open up Pac-12 play. Next game on the road against Oregon State, Friday night game. A lot of people hire Oregon State, including me. However, Utah and Oregon State, they play this a similar style, and Utah does it better. I know it's the games in Corvallis on the road on Friday night. I expect that atmosphere to be electric. I'm still picking Utah last year, and a lot of it has to do with last year's game. Utah won the game 42-16. I just think Utah wins this game. They're going to take over Cornwallis and find a way to win this game and get a big victory on the road, probably a top 25 victory on the road against a pretty good Oregon State team. So you go into your bye week at 4-1. You come out of the bye week at home against Cal. I think you guys beat Cal. I do think Cal, people are underestimating Cal a little bit. They do bring back a lot of starters, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Cal has a good head coach there in Justin Wilcox. I think Cal's going to be a little bit better than what some people think. However, I do think that with the game being in Salt Lake City, Utah should get the win there at home against Cal. Next game on the road against USC. Um, this is a game that was crazy last year. Um, these teams played each other twice. And Utah won both of them. First go around, Utah barely got out of that game with a win at home against USC, and then the second game, Caleb Williams got banged up, and USC couldn't tackle anybody, and Utah blew out USC in the Pac-12 championship game. I look at this game for Utah. I think revenge is going to be on USC's mind. It's in Southern Cal. I'm picking Utah to lose this game against USC. USC probably has the best player on the field in Caleb Williams. As a matter of fact, they do have the best player on the field in Caleb Williams. So I'm going to go ahead and pick USC to beat Utah for their second loss of the season. Next game at home against Oregon. This is a game that last year Utah lost a very close game, 20-17, to Oregon. Oregon, I think, is going to be pretty good this year. They're one of the teams I definitely think could compete for a college football playoff spot out of the Pac-12. Same thing with Utah. Same thing with USC, Oregon State, and Washington. And by the way, we already have the Washington football prediction video out, so go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. But you look at this game. This game's gonna be a close game. It really is. It's at home. It's in Salt Lake City. I'm gonna say the crowd is gonna be the difference in this game. The home field advantage. And coming off a tough loss against USC, I'm gonna say that Utah wins this game, gets back in the win column, gets a big win against in my opinion, a pretty good Oregon team. Next game is at home against Arizona State. Future Big 12 matchup. Should be a win. Utah is just miles ahead better than Arizona State, so it's going to be kind of a long rebuilding project there. I do think the rebuilding project might be a little bit quicker than some people think. I do believe in their head coach down there, Arizona State, and Kenny Dillingham, but Utah is just a lot better. Utah should win the game pretty easily. Next game on the road against Washington. We just did the Washington football prediction video, so go check that out if you haven't already. But if you watch that video, you already know who I have in this game. This game, I think, is going to be a pick 'em. You look at this game overall. Washington, they probably have the better offense. Defensive for Utah is going to be better. I think this game could turn into a shootout. At the end, though, with it being in Seattle, I'm going to take Washington to win this game. Utah suffers their third loss of the year. Next game on the road against Arizona. Arizona's going to be a sneaky good team this year. I still think they're a year away. This is a future Big 12 matchup. I think this game could be a little bit closer than what some people think. However, I am going to take Utah. I trust Kyle Whittingham to have the guys ready to play despite, at this point, 3 losses out of the college football playoff, 2 losses in the Pac-12. Probably at best fighting for a spot in the Pac-12 championship game. I think Utah gets a big win on the road against Arizona, and you might laugh at saying me calling it a big win, but at the same time, Arizona I think has potential to be that like dark horse, sneaky surprise team in the Pac-12. I could see at the same time, Arizona could be maybe a 3-4 win team, but this is a type of game that you gotta win if you're Utah, in my opinion, and I think they do. Final game of the season at home against Colorado in a future Big 12 matchup. Colorado, I think it's going to be boom or bust this year for Colorado. There isn't going to be an in between. I think with the game in Salt Lake City, I'm going to pick Utah to win the game. But it's going to be interesting. Colorado definitely has some players on that team that I feel like can definitely turn some heads. It's not the same old Colorado teams that it's been probably for the past 5 years or so. It's definitely going to be some playmakers on Colorado with Coach Prime there, but I still think Utah gets the win. So if you count up all the wins and losses, I have Utah going 9-3, 7-2 in the Pac-12, 9-3, 7-2 in the Pac-12. Utah, I mean, it's going to really depend, I think, on the standings and how things play out. It's definitely not going to be as easy as a Pac-12 as it was for the past 2 years for Utah to get to that Pac-12 championship game and win it, despite having horrible out-of-conference records. But overall, I do think that as I said, Utah, they'll at worst be competing for the Pac-12 championship. So comment down below, tell me where you have the Utes at. I always like hearing from y'all. Thanks for watching the video. Hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate if you do that. McD the Beast signing off.